So this is Jagriti and I'm host for today's session. Today we'll discuss on topic of accelerate your digital prominence with process automation. So let me introduce about my company to you. So Simtrax is into enterprise software solutions. We having 30 plus years of industry experience. We are into technological innovation to fulfill customer needs. And we have 3000 plus customers across different industries with 12.7 years of average of customer loyalty. We having headquarters in Los Angeles, USA and global presence having offices worldwide. In India, we have the office in Mumbai and Pune, catering for APAC Middle East region. Now let's talk about customers. So we have the customers in different industries. We are not an industry specific solution provider. So in manufacturing industry, we have the customers like Volkswagen, Volvo, Honda, Ford. Then in finance industry, we have the customers like HSBC, Citibank, Commercial Bank of Qatar, etc. Then FMCG and food industries, we have the customers like Coca-Cola, Bacardi, Haribo, etc. Then in pharma industry, we have the customers like Himalaya, Pfizer, and in other industries, we have the customers like Dainik Bhaskar, Transportation Group, etc. Now moving further, let's set up a context for today. So we all are aware companies has impacted due to COVID-19 pandemic, and due to this for many organizations, this has been drastically accelerating their business transformation strategies. So our today's discussion will revolve around process automation, need for process automation, digitization need. We will discuss criteria to qualify process for automation. Also, we'll discuss some business cases, and then we'll discuss Simtrax solution for process automation. At the end of this webinar, we will have the question and answer session. Moving further, so let's discuss more on that. To begin with, we will discuss criteria to qualify process for automation. So on the screen, you can see there are top 5 parameters that will help you to identify a process for automation. So first is a manual process. So yes, process should be manual. So more degree of manual operations are there, better will be benefits coming out from automation. Then second, repetitive in nature. So yes, process should be repeated in nature. So you can use automation technique to automate your repetitive task. Then third, high volume and paperwork. So volume should be high definitely, because in terms of repetition involved and higher frequency of the documents, so higher the volume, better will be benefit coming out automation. Then moving further, another criteria which is rules driven. So it should be rules driven. That means if there are firm rules are there for a particular process, then automation can take this ahead. And if there are human discussions involved, then that process is not a right process for automation. So accordingly, you have to decide. Then last, the process should be standard and consistent. So what does that mean? So the process should be fairly established and it did not require many changes in the recent past, and it will not expect major changes in coming future as well. So any of your business process falls under this criteria, then that process should be automated. Now moving further, I will discuss fundamental principles of business process automation. So every organization has its own way of implementing business process automation, but there are some fundamental principles that each of organization is following. So first principle is understand, simplify, and automate. So before introducing automation, it is essential for you to first completely understand the existing process and analyze it. Now here, I would like to take an example of our customer who is using our product, which is a Complio product, which is our principal product. So they're using this solution for digital signature and P2S automation. Apart from that, they're having other challenges in terms of their sales team, like their field sales team, having challenges in processing all the orders to the back office team, because they have to send email, they have to call to the back office team, and then back office team have to collate all the orders in Excel, and then they have to update to the ERP. So we analyze this process and we have proposed a solution where sales team can use predefined format, and using their mobile from the field, they can submit the order, and back office team can get that order in required format, or it could be pushed back in ERP. Now moving further, second principle, which is integration with preceding and succeeding process. So all the processes running in businesses are different from one another. So the process that is automated should seamlessly integrate with existing, that means preceding and succeeding process. And another principle, which is a consistency. So the automated process should be consistent with other process and their corresponding input and output. Now here, if you're already using PR to PO creation, which is automated process, and after that you want to have the PO approval process as well. Means once PO is created, then you want to send it to the further approval process and along with the automation in that part. Now here, that process should be consistent with your preceding and succeeding process. Now moving further, another fundamental principle, which is a step-by-step approach. So here it is not necessary to perform all this automation task at one go, but depending upon your budget or resources or customer involvement or overall logic defined for that process, you can divide your all the process tasks in stages. For example, here let's take example of PO to SO process. Now your first step is automation of sales order creation based upon the PO received from your customers. Now here customer either can send PO over email or they can upload using web gateway. Now in the next step, it could be possible to capture PO from customer CRP directly. So as I mentioned it, there are considerable factors that has to be considered. For example, customers involvement, allocation of budget, etc. But this can be possible. Now another principle, which is a process flexibility. So over a period of time, business process tend to change and automation solution should be flexible enough to incorporate and reflect these changes. Now here again, I would like to take example of PO to SO, or you can take any example of your Miro or Migo process automation as well. Now here in PO to SO process, if we are creating sales order in ERP based upon PO, so PO to SO process is automated. But after further, after in future scope, if you want to convert PO data into Excel or XML, so that should be flexible. So your automated solution should be flexible enough to incorporate these changes. The last principle, which is the simplicity and training for the staff. So the aim of this automation is to make your business process more simpler, not more complicated. And after automation as well, still you require human intervention, then something went wrong in this process and you have to analyze that process again. And also for efficient functioning of this business process, it is very important that your staff should have the complete understanding for this process so they can use it very efficiently. Now on the screen, you can see these are the commonly automated processes in business. So here could be example of order to cash automation, P2P automation, sales order automation, invoicing, GRN automation, and many more. Now we will see how that can be achieved using Complio. Now you can see on the screen, this is a typical architecture of our product. So this Complio is on-premise solution. If you want, then we have the cloud-based application as well. Now at the left hand side, you can see in the first box SAP and IBM ERPs. So for SAP and IBM, we have the certified integration with SAP and IBM respectively. For other ERPs or applications which allows API integration, we can integrate using API connector. Also, we have the email connector, so we can capture incoming attachments from your customers or vendors. Or we can use SFTP approach, or we can use web gateway to capture the document. Now let's take example of SAP ERP. Now here SAP user can simply process the document. Spool will be captured in Complio. Predefined template will be applied on it, and then output will be created and distributed. Now here template designing is one-time activity, and to design the template, no programming efforts are required. Now once output is created, now you can see at the right hand side, we have the multi-channel distribution platform where output can send via email, it can send for printing, it can archive, it can send for workflow for approval, it can convert into Excel, XML, it can push back in SAP DMS or Complio DMS, or it can store on cloud repositories like SAP, Amazon S3 Bucket, etc. Similarly, we can capture input from other ERPs, other application, and we can capture in Complio and we can process it further. Now let's do some digging into a business process. As we have seen fundamental principles, we have seen criteria to qualify process for automation. So you can think any of your business process that needs automation. If you have the manual process, if you have the human intervention, so you can think accordingly and we can discuss in the question and answer session. Now these are the questions for you. So how does the process begin? How and where document is received? Who receives the document? What is the dependency of the person who is involved in this process during peak season? And how will distribution takes place? So considering these exam questions, let's discuss the order to cash process. Now on this screen, you can see these are the steps involved in O2C process. Now here we will discuss how Complio, which is our product, can help you in automation and digitization in every stage. Now first step, which is a customer places an order. Now here customer can send you email along with the purchase order, or we can provide web-based gateway where customer can upload the PO. Now second step, order is fulfilled. Now here if you have the process where you want to send performer invoice to the customer, now you can create performer invoice in your ERP, and using Complio, that perform invoice we can directly send to the customer for acknowledgement using Complio web-based application, website application. Now customer will acknowledge that, and after acknowledgement we can create sales order in ERP. Now if you don't have performer invoice process, then directly we can create sales order from incoming PO. Now once sales order is created, then we can directly send to your production department as an email notification. Production department can use web console, which is a Complio console. They can view sales order which is created in ERP, and against every which material is available, delivery time, delivery date, they can mention in that web console as a comment. And once they submit that, then automatically customer will receive all the details with notification of delivery date and all. And after that, you can send delivery note for acknowledgement using web sign application, so customer can acknowledge that, and you can then create invoice in your ERP and you can send it to the customer using Complio. Once customer pays that invoice, or we can merge all documents together, like we can merge PO, invoice, PI, sales order, signed delivery note from the customer, and we can store or we can archive that, we can push back in ERP, we can send to the required recipient over email, like that. So at every stage, we can completely automate and digitize your O2C process. We'll discuss more in detail. We have the demo ready for PO to S automation, so we'll discuss more on that. So this is the O2C process automation using Complio. Now let's discuss one part, which is a PO to S automation. So you might be receiving a purchase order from customer either through hard copies or electronic copy. Then here manual process has to do. You have to segregate every purchase order in different folders. If it's a verified PO, then you have to create SO in your ERP. If it's an unverified PO, then you have to notify to your customer accordingly. Now using Complio, how it can be automate. Now you can see on the screen at point number 1, as I mentioned it, we can capture PO using web gateway, or they can send over email. Then predefined template will be applied on that PO automatically, and then sales order will be created in ERP, or we can convert data into Excel or XML for further usage. Now let's see demonstration for that. Now here I'm taking example of SAP ERP. Now you can see on the screen, this is the last sales order created, which is 15984. Now we will go and we will check in your ERP. Now this is your ERP. Now here I'm using transition code VS03-15984. This sales order has been created in ERP. Now we will check for the next sales order, which is a 15985. This sales order is not created in ERP. Now as a customer side, this is a purchase order. Now customer either send over email or they can upload using web gateway. Now in this demo, I have configured web gateway. Now you can see here, this is a customer side where customer can use this web gateway and they can upload purchase order from there. Now you can see here, as a customer, I uploaded this purchase order. Now once customer uploaded this purchase order, then it will capture in Complio, and then sales order will be created in your ERP. Now you can see on the screen, sales order has been created. So 15985 is created in ERP, and the respective department or respective team will get notified over email. Now we will check in ERP. Now you can see here 15985, this sales order has been created in ERP. Now here I would like to mention very important points. So first we can do the condition checks if customer sends you the purchase order, but if you want to check some conditions, it could be your price check, it could be your material check. So before creating sales order in ERP, we will do the condition checks. Another important point, once sales order created in ERP, we can send to authority for the approval using Complio. So authority, if he's traveling, he can access like interface and he can approve that document. Once document is approved by the authority, then automatically we can update flag back in your ERP. So this is the PO to SO automation. moving further, now let's discuss another process, which is a P2P process, which is account payable process as well. Now here again we will discuss how Complio will be helpful at every stages for automation and digitization. So step number one, you have to identify the needs based upon your requirement, and once you created PR, that is a purchase requisition in your ERP. Now using Complio, once you process that PR, we can send to the authority for the approval. So if the authority is traveling, he can approve it using mobile. Now from that PR, we can create PO in your ERP automatically. Now here, if your vendors is not finalized yet, then you can send inquiries from ERP to the vendors. Now using Complio, when vendor sends you back the quotations, then using Complio we can merge that quotation together and we can send to the authority for the approval based upon the comparison. So based upon that, we can create PO in your ERP. Now once PO is created, then using Complio as well, we can send that PO to the authority for the approval. So authority can approve that. Once authority approves that, then directly we can send to the vendor for further process. Now here, if you have the process where vendor sending you performer invoice, then automatically we can capture that performer invoice using email connector or web gateway, and we can send to the authority for the approval. And after 30 days or 45
technical problem at Javedi's side, so I think she should be back in a while.
can you hear me
you're
now?
back? Sir?
Yeah,
we can
actually
hear
there
you.
was
I
some
think there was
technical
some problem.
glitch.
Yeah.
So I'm back. So can you hear me now?
Okay. You may take over. Yeah. Yes, you're audible. You may take over. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a P2P process. So here we will see how at every stage Complio will be helpful for automation and digitization. So once you identify needs, then that PR we can send to authority for the approval. We can create PR to PO using Complio. That process can be automated. Then that PO we can send to the authority for the approval using Complio. So if authority is traveling, he can use mobile and he can simply approve that. So once authority approve that, then automatically we can process that PO to vendors. Now after in your this case, if you have the process where vendor is sending performer invoice, then automatically we can capture that performer invoice and we can send it to authority for the approval. And after 30 days or 45 days of cycle, if vendor sends you the material, then we can automate your Migo process as well. Once GRN is created, we can, once vendor sends you the invoice, then we can automate your Miro process as well. And all the documents at every stage we can combine together and we can archive or we can send it to the required recipient or we can send it over email. So all this process we can automate and digitize. Now moving further, now we'll discuss business case for automation and digitization for order to cash process. So this business case belongs to a manufacturing company from Oman. So I request you, if any of your business case that you would like to discuss with us in our question and answer session, so you are feel free to discuss with us. Now you can see on the screen, this customer is using JD Advice ERP. So they're receiving purchase order from the customer. Now their problem they were facing, they have to manually split, sort and merge entire set, and their system has to deliver that set to their customer for the payment collection. So this is a physical activity where they have to go to the customer premise and they have to submit all these documents after manually splitting and sorting. And their finance team were facing challenges for payment recovery. So considering these challenges, using Complio, we have completely automate and digitize their process. So where we have merged all these three documents like invoice, scan delivery note, PO, we are merged together and we are distributed over to the customer over email. So in this way, we have reduced all their manual efforts and we have fastened their payment process as well. Now moving further, let's discuss another business case for GRN label creation. Now I want to discuss the manual process. So that customer, their vendor has provided one template, and on that template they have to do manual entry from SAP. They have to manually check material code from SAP, PO number, GI number, unit of measures, material description, etc. And they have to take care of particular size as well, which is 100 millimeter to 50 millimeter. And then they have to get a print on GRN, on thermal printer. But using Complio, we have automated their process. So here we have designed the template in prior. and in that template we have fetched all the data from SAP. Now, as a user point of view, they have to simply process full document. It could be PO document. So once that document they have processed, then automatically that predefined template will be applied on that document, and then they're getting required output, which is printed on the thermal printer. So this process we have completely automated. Moving further, now let's discuss the challenges involved in report creation. So I can suggest you how we can automate your report creation along with the distribution as well. Now on the screen you can see at right hand side it could be your ERP's report, which is not customized as per your requirement or as per your business users requirement. Now you can see here header itself scattered in different line. Now as a purchase manager, if you want to have all vendors report in different Excel along with the required details from your ERP or from your SAP, so for that you have to ask your technical team or your programming team to provide you the required report. For that, considerable programming and manual efforts are also required. But using Complio, we can completely eliminate these challenges. Now you can see on the screen at right hand side, we can convert all the required report in different Excel. We can query the data from different ERP table or SAP table. We can merge two reports together. We can add graphical element. We can automate your task as well. If you want to have this report on every month end or on daily basis, as per the required time, we can provide you that automation as well. Now let's see how it can be achieved. So here I have a demo with me, which is the Mara report customization and automation. So here I have used SAP environment for the demo. Now here against plan code 2000, you can see this is the existing report. Now if your user demanded that they want to have the other details that are available in SAP table, so again as I mentioned, your technical team has to approve the requirement of the business user. It goes to the functional team, or you have to outsource to the third party, or your programming team has to do considerable programming. Now using Complio, we can schedule the task, you can see on the screen, or you can simply process the document. Now user has to simply process this document from ERP. In the background, what will happen? The document will be captured in Complio, and the predefined template will be applied, and output will be created and distributed. Now on the screen you can see this is a Complio supervisor interface. Now here I have configured output through email. Now you can see on the screen, user or required recipient will receive this document, which is output document. Now you can see here, let me open this report for you. Now here we have queried all the data that are required by the business user. We have queried all the details from, you can see, for example, Mara, MARC, MBW. From these tables, we have queried all the data. We can merge report together. We can add graphical elements. All this activity, we can do it without any programming. Now moving further, now discuss e-invoicing solution for Saudi Arabian market. So you might be aware, like e-invoicing will be mandatory to all Saudi Arabian companies from 4 December and 2021, and it will be implementation will be done in two phases. So this is a phase 1 architecture. Now from your billing software or from your ERPs, we can capture your invoices in Complio, and as per ZATCA specifications, invoice will be created and it will be stored as you require. So proud to say that for invoicing, we are the monopoly because we have worked in with PayPal or Chorus platform, and for Indian market as well, as per Indian government mandate, we have developed the solution for Indian customers as well. So same way we have the solution for Saudi Arabian market as well. Now you can see on the screen, this is a phase 2 architecture where they have put mandate that input should be in the XML format. So using Complio, we can capture document from ERPs or billing software. We can capture it using API connector, or we can capture using SAP IBM connector, like that. Once it captured, we will convert into an XML format. That XML document will be uploaded to the ZDK system. We will receive our output back, which is in XML. Now we will convert that output into required format. It could be PDF along with the QR code. It could be XML format, and all the details we can push back in the ERP as well. As I mentioned it, if you want to add additional data apart from the data that is received from invoicing system, we can provide a web-based interface as well. Now moving further, now you can see on the screen, these are some success stories that we have it. We have the customers that who are using our solution for process automation, like Siemens, HSBC, Aluminum, Bahrain, Asian Paints, Tata Chemicals, Himalaya, Rallis, and many more customers worldwide. They're using our solution for process automation. So if you decided to go for process automation, some factors that will be helpful and will influence your decision. So Complio acts as the admin tool. There is no any programming efforts are required to design the template. And as I mentioned, we have the certified integration with SAP and IBM. For other ERPs, we can integrate using API connector, or we can use SFTP approach. So in short, it's a one-stop solution for automation and digitization with multi-channel distribution. So Complio can add value to your existing ERP setup, and this is for sure. So also I want to mention, like, we are not only restricted to process automation, we are into EDI solution provider, we are into workflow solution provider, we can reformat your existing document, we can provide you customized reporting. So many more applications we can provide you, so it can add value to your existing ERP setup. So thank you so much for your valuable time. If you have any queries, you can feel free to discuss with us. If you want to share the demonstration with your stakeholders or with your team, you can let us know. You can simply write us an email as well. So we are open for your questions. If you want to discuss any of your business process challenges involved in that, so you can just let us know, so we can discuss right now. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Jagruti, for the wonderful webinar. I hope it was useful for all the attendees today. So we just have a few questions here, so some of which are a part of the frequently asked question list. So I'll quickly go through them. So before that, I would request to confirm if I'm properly audible.
Yeah, Tejas, you're audible. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so a few questions that we have here is, so the first one says that we have more than 100 number of customers. Will it be feasible to manage for the same for PO to SO automation or GR in case of vendors? Yeah, so that should not be a problem if there are major variations. So normally the strategy which is taken up by customers is they start with the high volume or high value customers or vendors and gradually go down the channel. Or another option which is now very aggressively being adopted is use of API. The customers or vendors are given an API to consume, and through which they can upload the concerned invoice, POs, or other documents, and then we can receive it in the standard format, and the process becomes easier. Then the next question is, we had incoming files in different file formats, so also the layouts are different. So how will this be taken care of, right? So like I said, in terms of layouts, we'll have to either go for a layout-wise template, which is a quick task, but it's a one-time effort which has to go in, or else we could provide APIs through which standard files can be received. And regarding file formats, so we support multiple file formats for inputs like CSV, XML, then PDFs, text files, etc. So based on that, it can be handled. What methods we use to update data in the ERP? So either the standard connectors or the API-based approach could be taken. In case a direct integration is not possible, we could provide you data in the format of XML or Excel file, etc. And your ERP can consume the same via a batch process. The next question is, will the solution be on-premise or on cloud? So there's a flexibility available. So it could be an on-premise solution, on-cloud solution, or a hybrid solution. And we choose the architecture based on the requirement and the suitability of business. The next question we have is, we have certain business conditions that we check manually on the incoming documents before creating subsequent documents in the ERP. Okay, so like Jagruti mentioned during the demo, there are conditions like pricing, taxation, or relevance of the business, or the location where it has come from. All these details could be captured from the document or the incoming file. A condition check can be put on that, and only subject to the condition getting fulfilled, the further processing will happen. In case of process or condition failures, required notifications could be sent to the concerned stakeholders. The next is we need certain approvals on POs before getting SOs. How is that possible? Okay, so again, like you saw, we have a workflow solution in place. So whenever a document comes in or before it is to be sent out, we could run the document through a workflow process, and only upon required approvals, the further distribution or further sharing of the document or the further process of updating in the ERP will happen. And apart from that, like recently what we've seen is for this kind of processes, an integrated solution of having a portal or interface in place for the customers or vendors to upload documents, and then the same being received at your end, the same being passing through a workflow process for approvals, and upon successful approval, the final process to happen. In case of any condition failure, intimation to be sent. So all this integrated or end-to-end solutions are being sought very commonly recently. So after opening of businesses post COVID, so there's a ready solution for that where we can map the portal, the processing, the workflows, everything to your requirements. So that's available. So accordingly, further details could be shared once we know more about the business case. So as the details are there, I think on the screen right now. So you can any time reach out to us and let us know so we could discuss and take the case further. So, Javadi, these are the questions so far. So, over to you. I'll be there for a couple of more minutes, and if you have any questions, we'll answer them. Until then, over to you. You can take the session for conclusion.
Yeah. Okay, Tejas. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, as Tejas mentioned, you can revert us if you want to schedule the demonstration for your business team. So, we are happy to do that. Or if you want to connect with us for another webinar, also we can send you the notifications for that as well. So recording of this webinar will be shared. You can forward that recording of this webinar to your team as well in case they are missed to attend this webinar. So we are here for next few minutes. So I request you, if you have any questions, you can simply text us in the chat window.
Okay, I think Javadi, we are good to go. So, I think you may conclude the session. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So thank you so much for your valuable time, and we are the Simtrax looking forward. So if in case of any queries, you can let us know. So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tejas.